Well, as you can tell, we are just full of great advice this morning. In our next segment, it affects more people than you know. We're so happy that Dr. Salvatore Guttadoria from Diversified Hearing and Balance Center is back with some wonderful advice about loved ones and the holiday season. So first of all, good morning. Merry Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas.
And it's a great topic this morning. How do I keep loved ones with hearing loss close this holiday season? I thought that was just a terrific subject. For
yeah, it is, because if you think about it, people who are who have hearing loss become isolated, and the holidays especially are a time where you want to keep people close.
Yes. All right, and you actually have 9 tips that will help us through this, because some of these people you may not have seen for a while. Right. So you may not realize that they're not hearing as well as they should. So the first tip is a great one. Be attentive to them.
Yes. What happens is these people could become isolated very easily, and if you don't try to engage them as part of the conversation, they can fade into the woodwork and not be a part of what goes on. And it happens without you knowing it.
And they're used to it.
And they're used to it, yes.
They're hearing fading. They just start to become isolated.
Absolutely. And when you think back on the evening, you'll say, hey, you know what, I didn't talk to Uncle Joe, or he didn't participate. And you realize what happens afterwards, so you have to be active in engaging them.
Smart. Turn down the volume, especially at dinner time.
Yes. People with hearing loss are often affected by background noise. So background noise is going to interfere with what they truly want to hear. Yeah. So for the music in the background is great for most people. However, if you have a hearing loss, it may obliterate the speech that you do want to hear.
Okay, that makes so much sense. Speak clearly to people?
Yep. And it goes without saying that we should be speaking clearly, but what happens is that many of us don't, and we use slang, and we mumble, and we turn our heads. You have to speak clearly to the person who has a hearing impairment, and that does not mean speak overly loud, because that'll distort the signal. What you want to do is just speak as clearly as possible.
And I love the next one. Face the person. So many times you're talking to somebody and they're doing this. They're not even looking at you.
Yes, that's absolutely right. If you think about how the stream of sound comes out of your mouth, it comes out this way. And if you're not facing the person, that audio stream is going to be going into a different direction. It's not going to be hitting their ears appropriately. And that goes for the person who has a hearing aid and the person who does not have a hearing aid too. Because you got to remember, hearing aids are set to, they want to be able to pick up mostly what's happening in front of you. And so you want to be able to face that person.
Because like you say, then that device is getting the most input. Here's another one. Rephrase and prepare to rephrase to people.
Right. Sometimes if they don't get it one way, just rephrase what you're trying to say, and redundancy will help them to understand.
Right. Okay. Here's another one. Stay close.
Yes.
For the same reason as to face somebody.
That's absolutely right. You want to stay close. The signal then is much stronger if you're close. It's not distorted. They're able to look at you, and if you think about it, we all lip read to some degree.
Yeah, true.
And even people with normal hearing, if you don't hear something, you watch somebody's lips move and you could fill in the blanks. Well, people with hearing loss do that all the time. They cannot do that if they're separated and farther away.
And here's another one. Seek them out, which is what we were talking about. Why haven't I spoken to Uncle Joe all night? Seek them out. And remember, especially at dinner, seat them next to somebody who will be patient with them. I think that's so important.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. You have to sit them near somebody who is engaging and will want to engage them in conversation, and who doesn't mind repeating things a couple times. So you have to have the right person and the right setup in order to make that work.
So if you're the host, think about, think that through a little bit. Who are they sitting next to?
Absolutely.
They might be better at the end of the table. That way they're facing someone on their left and someone on their right.
Right.
Face on.
And this way they can see everything, and they could look from one side to another. Another tip is to keep them against the wall, and this way they're not bothered by all the background noise that might be coming in through a doorway or an archway.
Never thought of that.
Yeah.
It really is a way to make that hearing aid work at its most efficient.
Very, very good. Yeah, and
Yeah.
You know, not only if the person doesn't have a hearing aid, it's going to make their ears work more efficient too.
And I have a 10th one that I'm adding, and that is please make an appointment at Diversified Hearing and Balance Centers as soon as you can after the holidays. Make it the last holiday that you're going to have a loved one not hear what's going on.
Right. I mean, it's absolutely true. I mean, there's just so much that we can do. And these days, and it's just something to keep in mind too, is some people have benefits, a hearing aid benefit.
Yes.
And sometimes these benefits will expire at the end of the year.
There you go.
And so they really should look at
Maybe make that call now.
Right. Absolutely.
Nicest gift you give somebody is that information. Want to let you know Diversified Hearing and Balance Centers now 8 locations, including their newest on Main Street in Lockport. Give them a call today or log on to diversifiedhearing.com. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.